Hi, this is Alex from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book and record to play. Now we was gonna play Raggedy Ann and Andy Merry Adventure, but it happened to have Christmas themes in it. So we're gonna play this book for Christmas, and we're gonna play that book for Christmas, and we're gonna play Raggedy. We're gonna play this book instead. Raggedy Ann and Andy at the Circus from 1981. So let's get started.
This is your Raggedy Ann and Andy read-along book. Every time you hear this chime, it means you are to turn the page in your storybook. Now we are ready to begin our adventure into the land of fun. Open your book, and we will start the story of Raggedy Ann and Andy at the Circus. Remember, when you hear the chime, turn the page. The door to the playroom opened, and into the room ran Marcella. She was very excited as she said,
Raggedy Ann and Andy, I have some wonderful news to tell you.
Marcella ran over to the rocker where they sat and said,
We're going to the circus. Mother told me that the two of you could come along for the ride. Oh, we'll see clowns and animals and have lots of fun.
The two dolls looked at Marcella with their sewn-on smiles filling their faces and their shoe-button eyes shining.
I can tell that you're happy, too.
Said Marcella. Just then, Marcella's mother called.
Marcella, come and finish breakfast so we can get started.
The little girl ran to the open door and told her mother that she would be right down. Then she turned and said to Raggedy Ann and Andy,
I'll be right back to get you.
With those words, she closed the door to the playroom behind her. As soon as the sound of Marcella's footsteps faded down the stairs, Raggedy Ann cried out.
Did you hear? We're going to the circus.
Raggedy Andy smiled and said,
I have never been to a circus. I know we'll have lots of fun.
All the toys and dolls made Raggedy Ann and Andy promise to tell them about their exciting adventure. Ann assured them that they would. Shortly, the two dolls found themselves riding in the back seat of the family car. Marcella put them up to the window and said,
Look, Raggedy Ann, there's the big circus tent.
And then she said,
Raggedy Andy, see all the clowns? We're at the circus.
Soon the car stopped. Marcella's mother opened the door, and as they were getting out, she said,
Dear, you'd better leave Raggedy Ann and Andy in the car. You might lose them in this crowd.
Marcella knew her mother was right. She put the dolls down on the back seat and said,
You wait right here. I'll put you up high so you can look out the window. Have fun.
Raggedy Ann and Andy watched as Marcella and her mother disappeared into the crowds of the circus grounds. When they were out of sight, Raggedy Ann said,
Andy, let's visit the circus.
Andy grinned and thought it would be fun. He said,
But we have to be back before Marcella and her mother.
Raggedy Ann nodded her head. The window was open, so it was easy to slide over the edge. They cried as they landed on the ground below. They did not have to worry about getting hurt, for they were made of rags. Nothing could hurt them.
Come on,
Cried Andy as he dusted himself off.
let's visit the big top.
The two rag dolls ran across the circus grounds. Soon they were standing in front of the big top,
It's very big, Andy.
said Raggedy Ann.
I have never seen a tent this big in all my life.
Replied Andy. They were about to crawl under the tent when they heard a voice behind them.
What are you two doing down there?
The little dolls stopped and turned around. They wondered who could be talking to them. As they looked up, they saw the biggest elephant they had ever seen. Andy said,
We're going to see what it's like inside the big top.
Anne added,
We've never seen a circus before, Mr. Elephant.
the elephant said.
You haven't? Well, then you should see it the right way.
The two rag dolls looked at each other and said,
The right way? What do you mean?
The elephant lowered his trunk and told Raggedy Ann and Andy,
Climb aboard. I'll take you for a ride all around the circus.
This is going to be exciting.
thought Raggedy Andy. Raggedy Ann said,
I never thought we would ride an elephant all around a circus.
soon they were sitting on top of the huge elephant.
Hold on tightly so you don't fall off. It's nearly time for me to be in the show.
In the show?
Cried Raggedy Ann.
If you're in the show and we're riding on your back, then that means...
The elephant began to laugh.
That's right. It means that you are going to be in the show, too.
That's wonderful.
Cried Raggedy Andy.
We're in the circus.
Music began to fill the big top, and the elephant said,
Come on. We're going into the middle arena.
the big top was filled with thousands of people, and they were all having a wonderful time. Sitting on top of the big gray elephant, Raggedy Ann and Andy had an excellent view of the circus.
Look over there.
Cried Andy.
Look at all the clouds.
The crowds were frolicking all over the place. It seemed like 100 of them were getting out of a very tiny car. Their brightly colored faces were painted into smiles, and everyone was laughing at them.
I have never laughed so much in all my life.
Raggedy Ann pointed to the center of the big top.
Yeah, the lion.
The elephant said,
Would you like to see a lion up close?
Raggedy Andy said.
I would.
Raggedy Ann nodded her head yes. Soon they were standing in front of the lion's cage. The elephant said to one mighty king of beasts,
Leo, these are my friends Raggedy Ann and Andy. They have never seen a real lion before.
The lion let out a mighty roar and said,
Pleased to meet you. If you're friends of the elephant, then you're friends of mine.
Just then, the lion came a-walked into the cage. The lion whispered to the two rag dolls,
This is my friend, the lion tamer. Watch as I do some tricks.
Raggedy Ann told the lion they would be glad to watch. The lion began to do tricks. He jumped through hoops and danced. The lion tamer even put his head in the lion's mouth,
Lion tamer is very brave.
thought Raggedy Ann. Raggedy Andy looked up and then called out.
What are they?
The elephant looked up and said,
Those are the daring young men and women on the flying trapeze.
Raggedy Ann and Andy held their breath as these wonderful men and women flew through the air. They gasped as each trick was done,
There is so much to see.
said Raggedy Ann. The elephant nodded his big head and said,
The circus is a wonderful place.
I know.
said Andy.
It makes everybody very happy. It's almost as happy a place as the playroom where we live.
The elephant smiled and said,
It's time for me to do my tricks. Hold on tightly, Here I go.
Raggedy Ann and Andy held on as their friend danced all around the ring on his two hind legs. When the elephant dance was over, Raggedy Ann said,
This is a wonderful day.
Raggedy Andy agreed.
The circus is fun.
The elephant said,
There is one more place I want you to visit.
Raggedy Ann said,
Any place you take us is all right with us.
they could hardly wait to get home and tell all their friends in the playroom about their wonderful day at the circus. The elephant walked out of the big top and then said,
Wait till you see this. Look over there.
Raggedy Ann and Andy could not believe it. They were in the place where all the animals lived. The elephant introduced his friends to the Raggedies. The animals greeted them as if they were old friends. There were tigers, horses, giraffes, and even a camel who looked like their friend, the camel with the wrinkled knees. Raggedy Ann and Andy waved to everyone. Suddenly, Ann told her friend that they would have to get back in the car before Marcella missed them. The elephant said he would gladly take them back. Soon they were back at the car. The elephant put his trunk into the open window, and Raggedy Ann and Andy hopped off onto the seat below.
Thank you for a wonderful time.
Raggedy Ann said.
It was my pleasure.
Said the elephant.
I hope we meet again.
With those words, he walked back to his tent. The dolls had not gotten back a moment too soon, for out of the circus tent came Marcella and her mother. Marcella looked down at her little friends and said,
You know, a funny thing happened in the circus. I saw two little dolls on the back of a dancing elephant, and I thought they were you. But I see you are here where I put you. It's too bad that you didn't get to see the show.
Raggedy Ann and Andy smiled at each other. They knew they had seen the show, even closer than Marcella had. They could hardly wait to get back into the playroom and tell their friends all about their visit to the circus.
So that was Raggedy Ann and Andy at the circus from 1981. So please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. And our next book will be a mystery.